Hey guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host, Bastion. This is Nintendo News. Let's get to that news. First of all, a Switch emulator is already being advertised on websites, which is not possible. I mean, it certainly is possible that it's being advertised, but it doesn't exist. It cannot be a thing yet, so be careful with these sites that claim that they have a Switch emulator. There's no way anybody could have developed an emulator for the Switch just yet. That's not even physically possible. So I suspect this is a phishing tactic meant to just try to get information from you. What purpose they would want to use this information, I don't know, but that's how these kinds of things work. So do not believe this. There is no actual factual Switch emulator out there. But anyways, if you want to check out that ridiculous site, there is a link down there for you. As if the Breath of the Wild hype wasn't grand enough, Edge magazine has given Breath of the Wild a 10 out of 10. And apparently they're not one of those magazines that just gives out 10 out of 10s to everybody. Apparently they're very selective, so this is actually an honor for Breath of the Wild to get a 10 out of a 10. I mean, as we're getting closer to the release of Breath of the Wild, I have had some strange reservations like, oh no, what if this is so dissimilar to old Zelda games that I just can't enjoy it? Or what if it's actually terrible and it's just that Nintendo's only showing us the good stuff? But if Edge is giving it a 10 out of 10, I'm just being ridiculous. It's gonna be great. I can't wait. Our next story is about the fact that Cena, who is and now is again a pro wrestler for WWE, he was invited by Nintendo to kind of host a Switch. Nintendo was doing this crazy thing where they built these structures and just placed them in very strange places, like on the top of a mountain or out in the middle of nowhere, where people could go, get some hands-on time with the Switch, and John Cena was one of the hosts for that. Which it turns out is a very strange choice on Nintendo's part, because he admitted in an interview he has not played any video games since the original Legend of Zelda. He said he was playing Breath of the Wild and was blown away by it, but the game that he really latched onto was 1-2 Switch, because let's face it, if you haven't been playing video games for 25 years, 30 years now, 1-2 Switch is much easier to get a hand on than probably Breath of the Wild was. And he went on and on and on about how great 1-2 Switch was, but it's just amusing to me that they're like, hey, you're a celebrity, you apparently don't know anything about video games, let's have you host this thing about the newest console. It's just a little silly, but at least he's honest, right? He could have faked it, he could have said, oh, I've played every Zelda game ever. But he didn't. He was honest. He said he hasn't played one since the original Legend of Zelda, any games, and since the original Legend of Zelda. So, or maybe I'm just jealous because Nintendo picked him instead of, like, me, for instance, because he's a celebrity and I am not, and also he's like twice my size, and I feel jealous when I look at pictures of him. But anyways, if you want to see that full interview with him, it's pretty amusing. There is a link down there for you. Our next story is about the fact that retailers are apparently still stupid. You might remember back when Wii U was released, every video I was talking about how stupid retailers were, that they didn't understand the difference between a Wii U and a Wii, and that continued all the way through the Wii U's life cycle. It did not stop just after the initial release of the Wii U. Well, retailers are still stupid. This retailer, whom I've never heard of, ASDA or something like that, I thought that was some sort of government organization, but apparently not. Apparently it's a retailer somewhere, and they have Breath of the Wild and 1-2 Switch in Xbox boxes in the Xbox section. Maybe it's just a joke, like maybe it's some Nintendo-hating employee who's like, ha ha ha, I'll put this new Nintendo stuff in Xbox boxes and confuse the heck out of the consumers. Or maybe they're really just that dumb and don't know what the hell Nintendo Switch is. I don't know. But anyways, it's frustrating. It'll be amusing to see how many of these kinds of instances continue happening, because retailers be dumb and they constantly do stuff like this. They did it all throughout the Wii U's life cycle. It'll be interesting to see how much of this happens during the Switch's life cycle. And then our final story for the day is about the fact that if you were worried that Nintendo is finally cutting cords, is that the phrase? Cutting ties? cutting out their participation in E3, which it seems like they've been sort of dialing back a bit year by year. Apparently not so. They're renting the same amount of space as they always do, at least the same amount of space as they did the year before and then the year before that. So their presence will apparently be just as big as always. They, of course, don't do their live presentations at E3 anymore. That's something they used to do, like about 4 years ago, up until about 4 years ago. At every E3 previous, they would do their live presentation at E3. These days, they don't do that anymore. They pre-record a thing at Nintendo of America and Nintendo Japan and sort of put it all together in a video, which they edit and meticulously make nice, and then they play that live at E3. But they're apparently still going to have as much floor space as ever, so they must have quite a few Switch and 3DS titles to announce, which would be amazing. So anyways, rest assured, we will be having plenty of Nintendo at E3 this year. I will definitely not be going this year. If you haven't heard this, E3 has become progressively less and less of what it was originally supposed to be, which was media people going and attending and being told, like, this is what's the new thing coming from these particular franchises and these particular hardware manufacturers. It's not really that anymore. Now it's becoming much more of a convention sort of thing, like a Comic-Con or something like that, where it's fans attending, and that's cool and all, but it's not really what it was supposed to be. We've already got those other kinds of conventions. This was specifically for media people. So, for instance, this year they're going all out and letting people just buy tickets. Whoever you are, you don't have to be associated with a gaming magazine or a gaming site anymore. You can just buy a ticket and go. So it's going to be much more fan-oriented, I think, going forward, which is fine, but again, that's not really what it was. But anyways, I'm not gonna go this year, or probably any year thereafter. It's not really as cool of a deal anymore. Nintendo used to save all of their super secret, super mind-blowing information for E3. Now they just put it out like every few months in a Nintendo Direct or whatever. So E3 is becoming pointless, really, in my opinion. But it'll be interesting to see what they do announce there. So, anyways, that's it for this episode of Nintendo News. Wow, the Switch is almost out. When this video comes out, I think it will be out midnight of the next day. That's crazy. I cannot believe we're that close to the new Nintendo console coming out. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow probably for more news. See you then. Bye, guys.